anybody put any letters in it.
Okay.
We have it,
There's no good enough on the agenda, so.
that's why we're not taking action.
Yeah, I agree. I think we got one of them. Simple as that. I got it.
How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm good.
Oh, God, I was just thinking about you.
Yeah. We're there.
Thank you for your I got no idea how much I appreciate that little bit of the shit No, I'm serious.
Oh, that's, I asked you for your reports. I asked you for your These people stay down here for $100 a month. They may go, brother, for 5 hours. You know what I mean?
Because I sometimes, I didn't see the
You see that? I feel like this shit.
Sometimes more is a message. So what you guys been up to?
trying to get by, you know. We still have one more. He's hanging on and he was saying I'm back on administration. Yeah, yeah, good seeing you.
I don't know the night.
Silver.
We can ship out.
She wants a revolver. She wants
I'm old.
She wants basket weed and a revolver.
Well, I heard she was bad. Laura got she's got to be lovely. I can't try to tell her she was and all that.
Where were we at?
You got her, Joey? Thank you.
Looks like service dress.
Well, no, I love to have my ground.
You see all this quality time?
Still, no better deals coming in there. Navy dress. And officer Navy dress.
I was like, I'll sit in the back.
Yeah, but
I took a little nap while I was back there.
I was going where she's going. My last meeting.
Not sure how long that
All right, can we bring our meeting to order, and then please take your seats, please, if you would like to. We have seats up here. Stand for the pledge of allegiance also. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming out tonight for our meeting. We have, what?
Did you want all call?
Yeah, I was going to do roll call in a second, but you know, just, I'm thanking people for showing up. All right, at this time, we'll do roll call.
Mr. Barlow?
Not here. I'm here.
Mr. Keiholt?
Yes, here.
Mr. Hill?
Here. Is, Madison County Land Conservation, are you here with us tonight? Right there. Okay, you have the floor.
Oh, I do.
You do.
Okay.
So I'll just kick off. So thank you, Morgan, for being here. Susie and I have been working with Morgan for about a year, maybe or so, or maybe less than that. We had put our property into ASA, agricultural security, and we're looking for other options on how to make sure that our farm goes into conservation for perpetuity. So our desire is to keep this landscape in this valley that we live in the way it is, and try to avoid development. You know, I have spent a lot of time driving down 15 to 270, and I know that development pressure is coming. So whatever I can do to do that for my own property, I've taken that onus on, and Susie and I have championed making that happen. But I wanted to bring that to the township. So I want to inform the citizens and everyone in the constituency about what the conservation does and Conservancy does, and then I'm also interested from a township perspective, potentially putting together a fund where we could get grant funds, willed funds, and donations, such as something from Vail. Vail has a wonderful view of our township that their visitors get to visit every day. That potential landscape viewscape that they have is potentially under threat from pressure from the south. I think we all recognize the role that data centers are playing. We have tremendous power in this region with the ski resort and with our government facility here and with the federal facilities at Emmitsburg. So we could potentially end up being a prime target. We've already been a target for development. And so whatever we can do as landowners that have property to protect those rights so that we can keep this valley the same, I would like to do that. And after speaking with many of you, I think many of you are in the same camp with me. So we've invited Morgan and the team down here to talk about that. And then, yeah, so thanks for coming out.
As I said, I'm Morgan Huckabee. I'm the Conservation Director of the Land Conservancy of Adams County. With me are board members Norman Calhoun and Andy Lawrence as well. I thank you for your time this evening and coming out to hear what I have to say. And I would just want to talk to you briefly about how townships can support local land conservation and share one practical example from another township here in the county. So most townships begin thinking about conservation funding as growth and development increases. As Chris has pointed out, the pressures are growing in this area, and data centers is a good thing to pinpoint on that. And conservation funding allows townships to reinvest locally using funds that stay within the municipality to protect land that the residents value. One example comes from Strabane Township. In 2023, their Board of Supervisors adopted a resolution to create a dedicated land conservation fund. The resolution was based on existing authority under the Second-Class Township Code and the Open Space Lands Act. They created a specific budget line item and initially used unencumbered general funds that later dedicated a portion of the real estate transfer tax. The key takeaway isn't the funding source itself, it's the structure. It's a clearly defined fund with specific purpose. What's equally important is how the resolution spelled out a clear criteria for using the funds. Funding can be used in partnership with either the County Agricultural Land Preservation Program or LCAC. Both programs already have eligibility and scoring systems that they use, that we use as well. When a request comes in, the board reviews whether funds are available and whether the project aligns with township planning goals. The board also approves the type of property interest with review by the solicitor so the township maintains control. From an operational standpoint, the process is very straightforward. When a potential conservation property is identified, the township is contacted first to gauge interest. If the board wishes to proceed, the project is placed on a public meeting agenda such as this, and funding amounts are approved publicly before any money is released. The result is a recorded conservation easement that permanently protects the property. Transparency is a major benefit of this model, and funding decisions are made publicly, and conserved properties are documented by address, owner, and acreage. These recorded easements are kept for township records so residents can see exactly what's being protected, and LCAC's role is to support township goals, not replace any authority. We assist with coordination, funding assembly, and long-term stewardship, so the township does not take on any ongoing enforcement or maintenance responsibilities at all. So, as you can see, not one size fits all will work in any township. There's other examples of other townships within Adams County that have similar models. They use funding sources differently, but the approach is basically the same. People apply through me or the agricultural, the planning agricultural facility. We do our rating. We decide, all of the backbone work, then we present it to you. Is this a property that you would be willing to help with the stewardship funding? And it just helps accrue some of the costs, and then we do all the coordination and the final closing and the maintenance. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
So it says one thing, there's two clarifications. So one is the way we've done it, we're doing it as individuals, so it has nothing to do with the township, and my boat is already sailed, so I don't benefit. For transparency, just want to make sure everyone understands that I am not a recipient of this. I only try to do it for a recipient of the township. So you could go directly to LCAC and you could do just like we did, file and apply and see if you could participate in the program. But my goal as a town supervisor is to try and establish a fund that we can manage so that we can participate as a partner in the process to elevate. So when someone's being scored, LCAC has a score ranking and they'll agree to what you're paying for the development rights for that acre. If the township has available funds that we can put into that, let's say maybe $500 per acre, we can elevate our township's priority stack because someone's willing to say maybe $2,000 an acre. We can pop in another $500 an acre. Well, suddenly it's more attractive and they might be elevated in their score. So in the township and in the Adams County area, we might be able to elevate our private lands higher in the category so that we can make sure that this valley stays protected. Is that a good summary?
Somewhat. Our scoring criteria isn't quite on the appraised value. So,
Okay.
Because it depends on you if you want to donate your land to for the conservation easement cost, or if it's a for purchase or bargain purchase. The scoring criteria is based off of like green space, off of wetland, off of soil health, off of productivity of the farm. It's more practical things that it gets scored and then it gets ranked. And we use the NRCS model, so it is a nationally acclaimed model for scoring, and that is where we put you on the ranking. The appraisal of the property is what dictates the amount of development cost, the differential there. So we try to pay a percentage of that. There's a stewardship fund that comes along with that gets paid to LCAC, and most townships, that's the fund that they're building. For example, Freedom Township recently decided to make a 5,000 stewardship fund that will grow annually. Not every year there's a closing in every township. So every, say in 5 years' time, multiply that by 5, then they have a bucket of money and say, hey, there's this really wonderful farm that we'd like to preserve. Are you willing to help us reach a percentage of the appraisal cost?
And if anyone wants to see the impact of it, they have a wonderful dashboard on the LCAC website, and you'll see the map. Click on the map, blow it up full screen, and then if you look at our township, you'll see 7 or 8 ASA already approved properties that are ripe for conservation or conservancy. Sorry, I keep on messing those two up. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
And then if you look at some of our partnering townships, you'll see that they're already in the LCAC. So I don't know if it's Freedom or Hamilton Bay, but they got quite a few. We're surrounded by yellow, and then we've got all these great ASAs that I think are potential people that can participate in this program. Yeah. But my main goal is to put conservation on the property owner so that the individuals that own the property are managing the rights and what happens on their property. I don't want to be managing it from, I don't think it should be managed from an ordinance level. So the more we can do to protect the properties, the better.
Is there a certain amount of land that you have to own to go in conservancy to begin with?
Typically, we don't accept anything less than 10 acres. It is, I will say it's case by case. If you have a 5-acre little plot of land around tons of preserved area, then that may be your priority. And everything gets run through, it goes through the committee level and then the board level, and motions get passed similar to this structure. So there's transparency and we can make sure that, yes, this is in our best interest. Even though that's a small tract, if it's really valuable, then we'll look into conserving it.
Okay.
Are there any zoning restrictions? Like, does it have to be zoned ag, residential?
Not for our conservation purposes, no. Basically, it's outside of like the agricultural planning, they just do ag and they have a unique easement that is based on them. For us, we do mixed property, so it can be like in Michaud, so you have like open space and open air areas. It could be precious wetlands, it could be farmlands. How it's zoned, that only dictates how you operate your property.
Okay.
Should there be any existing buildings that need renovation or updating? Is there any limitations on what can be done there?
So whenever we make a conservation easement, there's what's known as the area of minimal protection, and that's typically where like the structures are. There'll be an envelope, and in that area you can build, renovate, you can take up as much square footage doing what you would like. In larger parcels or in like farming operations, it's common to have what's known as like floating envelopes, where say you have a field way out in the corner and you wanna put horses there, so you wanna put a barn there, there's options for that. Every easement is very unique, and it depends on the needs of the property and the existing structures that are there.
So the entire property does not have to be put into the easement. Say you have 500 acres, if you could put 300 in.
Oh yeah,
Is that- okay.
you can absolutely, and you can also, Boyer Nursery is a wonderful example. They have almost 1,000 acres conserved with us now, but they started with a very small sum, and then every year or so, they add another parcel and add another parcel. So they kind of do a trickle in of their easements.
And if I may just add something, in the case of Boyer Nursery, their first easement included the land surrounding their commercial garden center, and their option was to exclude that area because they didn't want to have to comply with conservation restrictions on that portion, so they could continue to develop their business, but they preserved their orchard land and open fields. So that's something else you can consider if you have a farming operation or some kind of commercial venture. It's possible to carve out some area that is not included, or as Morgan just said, if you have a very large property, you may have reasons why you don't want to preserve it all at once.
If the township was gonna be involved with the financial part or contributing a financial part, is that something that the township supervisors would vote on in a public meeting or is that something that we would send out to the voters? Because we're using taxpayer dollars in Liberty Township as a whole. So if we're gonna spend Liberty Township dollars to preserve a particular land, I would think the property owners, as in the entire township, should have some type of say in how much money we're gonna spend. Or is that something that the township, usually the township supervisors do on behalf of the township?
That, I believe, would be decided amongst the township supervisors themselves on how you would like to conduct that. I know that for the Strabane example, for instance, they had a large portion of unencumbered funds that they said, yes, we'll use this, it's already within their possession, to set aside this amount for, and then with the development that happened there, they decided they didn't want to have any more development happen, but that gives them a very nice tax revenue, so then they started to contribute that. In the case of Freedom Township, they decided that they had $5,000 of unencumbered funds that they felt a conservation stewardship program was a great way to allocate those funds. And again, they may not be called upon every year, and it would be, any time that I would be asking you to spend that money, it would be like, you know, these people have this farm, this is the appraised value out of your stewardship fund, how much are you willing to, you know, contribute to this easement, so we can, because we will pay, it's very rare to get 100% of the appraisal value. 80% is really solid, so if you can help us reach that by even just that $5,000, that helps get us to that again, because the federal funding, it depends on the type of grant, will do certain percentages. So if it's an ag, they'll typically do 50% with that funding source because it's federal. If it happens to be an open space or green space through organizations that help protect, like Michaud, they're going to do more like 30%. So it depends on the type of funding as well.
So the way I was thinking of it, Nick, is that's why I reached out to Kate Wilson. She's the State Sustainability and Community Development Vice President for Vail Resorts. And I explained to her our situation, and I've asked Vail to come to the table. And if we can get them to participate in what I believe are the most important thing, private-public partnerships, if they could provide seed capital to assist us in setting up a fund, and then if someone passes away and they want to leave funds for the Conservancy, we would establish a fund, grow that fund, and then whenever we could, help people buy up these properties as we can participate. But I wasn't looking for the taxpayer. I want to create a self-licking ice cream cone, right? Its own money, its own pot of that grows on its own, and then we can help people out that wanna participate, because we can give a little bit more cash than maybe you guys just do on your own, right? Okay.
Well,
Just,
first of all, we wouldn't be able to put it on the ballot, it's not a ballot question, but you can always send a survey out to the residents and ask them if they wanna participate. But I got a couple, okay, I know when you're talking about the agricultural conservation easements, the money comes from the county and the state primarily. Now, I have had some of my other townships, in order to push some properties over the edge, contribute money towards that, to give to the landowner. And of course, then you know it's pretty much restricted to ag. They can have one primary residence, they can, you know, improve their barns and silos and whatever. But, so that's how that works. But money comes from the county, and that easement is on that property forever. So are you asking us to give money to you, and then you will then purchase the conservation easement from the individual? Is that, or you know, I mean, what I don't wanna see happen is, I don't wanna see us give you money and then we have no idea what's gonna happen with that money, you know?
it's restricted money. Yes, the Land Conservancy actually does the purchase of the easement, but when a township or other funding source commits money, it's usually for a specific easement, and it's restricted to that use. And if something should happen, it hasn't happened yet, but if something should happen between the time you actually commit and transfer the money and we don't go to settlement, you would get your money back.
Well, I guess my question is, once we commit our money to you, do you know, will we know what conservation easement you're going to purchase? Okay,
Yes,
so
you would.
it's not, we're just gonna give you the money and then you
We do
decide.
with it, no.
You
You can do that, but that's not,
Well,
that's not how it's operated with any of the other townships we've cooperated with. As Morgan explained, they indicate their willingness to assist with the funding. We have a good prospect. We do our ranking. We say we want to preserve this property. We then take it to the supervisors and say, this is the property we want to preserve. Are you interested in helping us with that?
Right.
And at that point, so the conservation easements, our type of conservation easements live in perpetuity.
Well, so don't the ag conservation easements?
Yes, they do.
The county, they're in perpetuity,
Yeah.
they're forever.
Yes, they are in
Yeah.
perpetuity, and we hold the hard copy of the easement forever because ownership can change.
Well, it'll be
those things,
recorded at the
but-
courthouse too.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course,
yes.
there's a book and page associated with everyone because they're tied to the deeds of those properties and so on. But the funds you hold, the only time that you will be thinking about writing a check to me is whenever there is a property that already it's gone through our approval process, there's already all the applications, all of the dots are done.
Just pretty much ready to go.
It's it is all but closing.
Okay,
So
well-
it could still happen within several months of that time, but all of the other funding sources, because I'm not gonna ask you for your amount until I know how much I'm getting from our larger sources,
Right.
from our grants and things like
And at
that.
that point, it's up to the township to decide whether or not they want to
If
participate.
they have interest, if you don't, then you don't, then we have other funds that we could perhaps do, or we would tell the property owner, this is the best that we can do, or whatever, but by the time I'm asking you the appraisal's done, the value is assessed, and I pretty well know how much funding I'll be getting from like NRCS or from RCPP and things like that.
I have one other question, if I may. And Chris mentioned the ACA, the Agricultural Security Area. In order to be an get into ag conservation, you gotta be in the ASA. And I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyhow. I don't think you need to be in ASA to be in your, to get a conservation easement for your, because wetlands wouldn't really be in ASA. Forest, and I'm assuming forest ground would be, may be eligible, but generally it's not eligible for ag conservation.
That is
easement.
for if we have solely agricultural easements in mind, so if it is an operational farm. There's even an instance where we have a property that is a very large property, and it has a portion of forested land, they have to subdivide some of that out to qualify for the agricultural easement. Also an option, if there's certain portions of your land that you'd like to exclude, you can.
But my question to you
Yes.
is, to obtain your easement, you don't need to be an ASA.
It's not required.
Okay.
For some funding sources do require it.
Yeah, the county and the state, they would, for the agriculture conservation easement, you have to
Right,
be an
and I
ASA.
believe perhaps for the NRCS grants, I'm not sure about that, but you're right, it's, especially some of the smaller but valuable properties, would not necessarily have to be in an ASA. I do know that if a farm operation is in an ASA, it helps us with our funding and getting some of our costs reimbursed. So we encourage it, but it's not required.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I'm not that familiar with Liberty, but I know you have some forest land that, you know, up on the mountain there, right, Mickey? Not much?
You mean, like Mercer, stuff like that?
Well, the show's already state.
Yeah, but we don't have any forestry that's owned by, any,
No.
we don't have any of that, it's private. Should be private land that has forestry work on
Well, but maybe they wanna put it in conservancy. No, I'm not talking, I mean, within your township, you have forest land. That it might be on privately,
it.
private.
It's owned privately,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what is unique about LCAC is that we do land conservation easements for all different types of properties, and it's not just farmland. This just is a heavily agricultural area, and we get a lot of interest from farmers because they want to be able to protect their farms.
Right.
But we have all kinds of different properties that are just forested, just open air, just, you know, public grounds. We have easements through the American Battlefield Trust that are historic in value. So we do all different sorts of easements. It really depends. And then what you classify as is depends on the, you know, the grant that I will apply for.
Yeah, when you answer my question, you don't need to be an ASA.
No.
Right.
That's all I have, thank you.
Any other questions?
Morgan, can you clarify, I thought it might be helpful for people to understand what the value of the development rights may be. I know there's a lot of variation, but what would be the range, maybe the average? And then if the funding comes through and there's a balance that isn't funded, so for example, we agreed to $2,000 an acre, if it appraises at $2,500 an acre, can you address that, the overage amount and how that carries forward with federal tax deductions?
Sure. So whenever we do the appraisal value for a for sale easement, which is a not donated easement, whatever is not covered, whatever percentage is not covered, so say we can cover, again, 75%, we use a round number, that 25% of your property value is considered a charitable donation. So that really helps because the purchase price that you get at settlement is a taxable sum. However, if you are, you know, and I am not a CPA, I don't know anybody's tax brackets, and that it's none of my business at any point in any of this, but I do know that the charitable donation of the land is very valuable, so that you can balance out your checkbook that way, your end of the year finances through doing these easements that way. So, and no matter what percentage is not covered, that is considered a donated portion of the easement.
So if you have a good CPA, you can work that into your magic.
Okay. Norma's a great CPA. World knowledge.
These factors really all depend on the appraisal.
Absolutely.
The appraised value and a qualified appraiser who can not just appraise, not just every appraiser is qualified to do the conservation value appraisal.
Yeah.
But that's what depends, not just having a good CPA.
And all of those steps are handled by me. I set up the survey that's necessary, the appraisal, getting them to all of the funding and the people that need to inspect them, and all of the heavy lifting is done by me. It's mostly paperwork signing and applications and, you know, understanding what you're reading for the property owners.
Well, I thank you for coming out, and I really want to thank you. You've been a wonderful steward in guiding Susie and I through the process to understand these things, where all the little dials and levers, because we're trying to maximize as much as we can, while, you know, taking conservancy into our, you know, for our property anyhow.
I appreciate that, and it's been much less than a year. I started this job in November, and that's how long I've been working with you.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly, so.
Anyone else have any questions for Morgan?
Go ahead.
So, we have land in Liberty Township, we have now bought properties that are in Carroll Valley that butt up to our land. And we've gone through Clean and Green at the courthouse to get the, and that then gets assumed under Liberty Township. Is it the same?
No.
No?
No, Clean and Green, affects your assessment for real estate tax purposes. It is in no way a conservation measure.
But what I'm saying is, because we are under Clean and Green right now, what we buy in Carroll Valley, and it gets approved and assumed into our Clean and Green that's already in Liberty Township, would it be the same way if we, went through the conservancy, because it's now two different townships?
That wouldn't matter
Doesn't
for
matter.
us.
Okay.
We certainly have other easements. We actually have an easement that straddles the state line. So, yeah,
Okay,
that would not matter for
all
us.
right.
And as far as, for like asking townships for funding, I don't know this for sure, but.
So we could double dip through Liberty
No.
That's fine.
My hunch would be is, if 80% of it's in Liberty and 20% of it's in Care, or vice versa. That would be my hunch. But as that would be a unique situation. But again, every easement is unique to the property and the property owner's wants and wishes, and because a lot of people that get these easements are thinking about the future because they're in perpetuity. So they're like, this is my lifelong dream. I don't have kids that are going to be farmers. I want this to stay a farm. So they, there's things that, there's a lot of unique documents that people tie to these and requests that they have and stuff. The easement language also is approved by the property owner. So I write the easement and we go back and forth until you are totally comfortable with everything that is said in there. And I've had very, very restrictive language on some, and I've had very,
Boilerplate.
Boilerplate, thank you for the term, yeah. So it really, it is very customizable.
Okay. All right, thank you.
We have no other questions. We thank you for your time. and
Thank
coming
you
out
all.
for the presentation.
Thank you for your courtesy and interest in our organization.
Yeah, thank you very
And
much.
most certainly, if you like, you may stay for the rest of the meeting, or you don't have to, because sometimes it becomes pretty tedious.
Thank you so much.
Some people are black.
That's what I was just doing here. And can I give these to you? Here's my card with Chris. If anybody wants to contact me, discuss this further, you have my contact information.
If you're blocked in, let us know, we'll send someone out to unblock. I just made aware some people are blocked to come. All right, at this time we'll move on to public comments. Do we have any public comments at all?
Yes, I want to thank the road crew for the wonderful job of cleaning our roads.
Well, thank you.
I want to second that. I got to ride shotgun for, and it was a great experience for me to understand what it takes to get out there and takes to keep these roads. And one thing that was cool is we went to all these different other townships, and their roads weren't plowed, but our roads were. We were out there at 10 o'clock at night to make sure the job was done. So he did a great job. What's that?
You woke me up, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. On the back of
Well, thank you, everybody.
That goes in that.
Do we have any other public comments? No other public comments? All right, at this time we move on to the supervisor's comment. Chris?
All right, so I'll make a comment for transparency. I had asked the other departments to put together a report, so I have now put together a report of how I'm spending my time. So I'll just say that as a town supervisor in January, I spent approximately 45 hours on township business. A variety of that was internal and external. So you may know we may have instituted a public employee insurance program to make sure that our employees are covered with health insurance. And then I did a bunch of research around this conservation program, zoning, and a bunch of other things. I also attended a variety of trainings that go on for borough and then for newly elected officials. So I was able to attend a 2-day seminar with other borough supervisors. I'm now doing a township one that's coming up, which I found extremely enlightening, perfect for getting the job. And then for this next month, I'll be looking at, I'm going back to our second class township code book, beginning to understand what's in that, because it's become really apparent that I need to understand that. And then I want to go through with Mickey, we're going to go, and Bobby will be going through the ordinances so I have a better understanding of what the ordinances are. And there's a bunch of other things I'll be working on related to both internal, external. If anyone has anything they want me to be looking at or researching, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to put it on my thing. And next week I'll be happy to, and if anybody wants a copy of what I'm working on, I'm happy to share it with everybody in open transparency. Just let me know and I can email it to you.
Thank you. Yep, appreciate that. Bobby?
I don't have any comments.
No comments? Okay. All right, I will save the comments for myself to the road department, and we'll move on to our minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes for January the 5th, the reorg meeting?
Yep.
I have this.
I'll make a motion to accept this read.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the next one we have on here is our January 5th regular meeting. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the regular minutes for the January 5th meeting?
I have.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion to accept the meetings as
Yeah.
that.
So you making a motion?
I'm making the motion.
You
He's
second?
second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, January 14th, our special meeting that we had. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes that were presented to us for our special meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna move on to our invoices for 1/6/25 through 2/5/25. Did everyone have an opportunity to review those invoices?
Yep.
I have. I'll make a motion that we approve the invoices that were presented to us.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, all right, next thing we have on here is our payroll for 12/21 through 1/10/26. I'll make a motion that we accept that as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then when our next payroll is 1/11 through 1/24, I think Mr. Kaiholt was the one that reviewed those.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I will second that motion. Do I have all in favor?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And we're moving on to the police department. Where is my chief back there?
In
There he is.
January of 2026, we answered 61 calls for service, 45 traffic stops. We issued 30 citations, 20 faulty equipments and warnings, and attended 0 community events. We gave a total of 236.75 patrol hours, 56 on-call hours, patrolled 2,177 miles, and we had 92 hours of admin time. We received a $5,000 donation from Blue Ridge Sportsman Association for the police department for various equipment. However, we need to acquire or spend it. I was at their meeting at the beginning of the month and thanked them for that. After several meetings with Wellspan in Gettysburg, I spoke to their president and financial director. They are willing to give us a donation of $7,350 to purchase 3 brand new AED units, 1 for each of the patrol cars. AOPC approved us to become eligible to utilize TRAX, that's traffic recording and crash system. It's an application that'll assist us out on the roadway. Actually, it speeds a lot of things up. And for the first time in my 29 years, we'll be allowed to finally electronically submit non-traffic citations. State police have been doing it for 15 years, but tonight we have two candidates for police officer part-time, being Tara Coyne and Conan Higgins. You'll come up when I'm done. The Land of Little Horses did reach out to me about contracting services. This way, the owner of Land of Little Horses is actually a supervisor for Highland Township. He did not want any hours coming out of Highland Township's contract. So the business entered into a personal contract, which by township code we're permitted to do because we provide police services to them. And they have presented a contract to us, which I have presented to the Board of Supervisors for review. That is for the sale at the end of the month, that they are selling off their property and their animals. I've also requested assistance from PSP Mounted Patrol, and I requested Sheriff's Office to assign one vehicle with 2 deputies. I have not heard back from them. I was asked to review our policy procedure manual, which I started, and one policy we have implemented in 2024 was the 18-hour policy. I did send a revised policy to the supervisors to review, to reduce it by 2 hours and to also average it out on a quarterly basis to require 16 hours a month, averaged out. Due to the fact that we have more personnel now, and I believe it'll increase our ability for retention, recruitment, and the morale of the department, and it will meet the needs of our department. All MVR and body-worn camera footage is that is not evidentiary will be destroyed and purged after 60 days. You have in front of you the 2025 totals for the year. Our little department in 2025 responded to 1,236 calls for service. 798 were actual dispatch, 438 were traffic stops. We issued 227 citations and 211 warnings, verbal warnings or faulty equipment, which shows the public we're pretty even on that. We're not just out there handing out citations. Okay? And we attended 12 community events, and that's over all 3 townships. PSP did handle 191 calls. That's over all 3 townships. And I want to thank our chief pilot, Sergeant Morris, and also our auxiliary pilot. Liberty One had 3 standbys for emergency call-outs and conducted 5 site visits. So thank you guys for giving us your time on that. Also in 2025, other than National Night Out, that's not even included in this, we were able to acquire $137,786.03 in donations. I want to give credit where credit's due. American Bikers on a Mission donated $5,000, which we have purchased AED batteries and the refurbishment of the AEDs we have now. That was prior to us knowing we were getting new ones. And they have also paid for new employee testing for Officer Gaskin. They gave a total of $5,000. We still have $2,461 left from them, and we are spending it with great equipment. Tripwire South LLC, they donated a total of $65,213.17 in the way of a completely outfitted 2025 Ford Explorer, which came to our parking lot ready to go. The only thing we had to do was have the radio put in it. They also donated Motorola cameras and body cameras and a car battery for one of the vehicles. And they also donated 3 new AR rifles, 1 for each vehicle. Graphcom donated $11,458.97. If you all remember what our cars were, one was black, one was white with graphics, one was completely white. Well, Graphcom took the one that was white with graphics, stripped the graphics, wrapped it completely black, and lettered it, and then lettered the rest to all 3 cars be identical. So we want to thank them, and they also donated the aviation graphics for our air support unit. So just to let you know, we do work hard in acquiring donations as well, and we saved the residents about $140,000 for equipment.
Awesome.
Yep, thank you.
Very awesome. Thank you. Question for you, Chief.
Yeah.
On the AEDs that we did get those batteries for, and now that we have this donation for $7,000 for new AEDs, what are we going to do with the current older AEDs?
We have 2 AEDs that have been refurbed. They have new batteries in them.
Right.
They're good to go. They are ours. We own them.
Yeah.
They were given to us by the hospital years ago, and now the hospital sent us a check in ownership of those AEDs. So we can do with them what we need to do. I personally would like to see them, at least one, go to the road crew to be put in one of the road units in case you guys are out there.
We already have one.
You know,
All right.
But-
I'm going to the truck.
you know,
Go ahead.
at least we can discuss that, or if another department needs one, you know, but
Okay. Do you have any idea on the new AEDs that we're gonna look at? Do you have any idea on what company, or has Adams Regional, given you
It's-
any
yeah.
idea of where you can get those new ones at?
yeah, actually, yeah, it's the same as the ones that we have. They're life packs, and what we're gonna do is, as soon as we get the check, then we'll order them
We got the check.
and pay them.
I'll tell you, we got the check.
Okay, well, I wasn't told that, so,
I can say, processed, we had the check.
okay. So we will order them, and then they'll be in however long it takes to ship.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, that is a good job. Very good.
So do all the cruisers, are they all looking the same now?
98.6%, Sarge. They all have the same equipment in. Dan's working on putting go bags, which if you're not familiar with what a go bag is, it has all the emergency equipment and your equipment for first aid and survival, basically, if you're out on a long day, you know, standing a post.
So please let us know what you need, because I'm a big advocate of every vehicle looking exactly the same, so that no one's guessing as a first responder. I've seen that happen before. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I thank you. I appreciate that. Well, as you know, with the spike strips, I am as well.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Do you have any questions for the chief?
No, sir.
Good? Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the hiring of the part-time police officers that the chief, and I believe, Dan, you took part in also the interview process?
Yes, sir.
So at this time, we're gonna go ahead and do the oath of office, and I'm gonna let Chief DeWitt do the oath of office today. Hi, I just threw in the curve. How'd you like that
A
one?
curve, you threw me under, I mean. All right. What I'm gonna do, just have you raise your right hand and read to me, try staying in sync, because I don't know it in my head. Go ahead.
I, Conan Higgins, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. That I do further swear or affirm that I will faithfully enforce the laws of the Commonwealth and the ordinances of the Township of Liberty, and provide for the welfare of the people to which I am sworn to protect. That I will act and serve as an example to the community and uphold the law without prejudice, exception, or reservation. And I do further swear that I will or affirm that I do not advocate, nor am I a member or affiliate of any organization, group, or combination of persons that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of this Commonwealth by force or violence, and that during such time as I am a member of the police department, I will not advocate nor become a member nor an affiliate of any organization, group, or combination of persons that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of this Commonwealth by force or violence.
Welcome aboard. You just have. Shoot. Put that in there. It's your training.
I didn't hear all that. Could you repeat it?
And welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You can fill out the rest of it and give it back to the chief there. Attorney?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks again, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Welcome to the team. You know, now I gotta ride along with one of you guys, that's my next thing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any overnight work, you know, I'm kind of like the 5 to 7 kind of guy. Ryan, let me know when you're going out.
And no rain, no snow. Yeah,
No, I like the rain and snow, I like the mess.
When do you wanna fly?
I don't know, anytime, we'll get on that. And we're on the car first, that's what I wanna do. Thanks a lot, guys, we appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
All right, the
Thank
next thing
you.
we have on here is number 2, is consider accepting the land of Little Horses Police Service Agreement. Did everyone read that agreement and understand what is going to happen?
I read it, but it's just a simple one.
Yeah, it's a simple thing, on February the 28th of 2026, at 125 Greenwood Drive in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's in Highland Township, actually. The land of Little Horses is being auctioned off. They have asked our police department to be, because we do patrol Highland Township, to take part in giving them police services there at that event. And they're drafting up a contract for us to do so. It's $75 an hour per officer.
How many officers?
2 officers at a total of $750 for that event.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we approve the event security services agreement per the contract that was drafted up. Mr. Lisker did review the contract and had no objections to it.
No, my main concern was, I didn't know where Land of Little Horses was. I mean, I know, I was there once, many years ago with when my adult children now were very young, but I didn't know what township it was in.
Yep.
So as long as it's a township where we're contracted to provide police services, I don't have a problem.
Okay, so the motion is made to accept the contract.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Appreciate it, guys.
I have 2 officers already willing to do the details.
Cool. All right. The next one on the agenda is the police department policy amendment. Again, I sent out Terry's proposal that he had submitted to us for review, and then I spoke with Mr. Lisko about the previous arrangements that we had with our other chief when we were talking about the hours of requirement, hours of services, at that time it was at 18 hours scheduled time per month. Do either one of you have a preference to the hours of service?
So, are we looking at changing the hours, or are we looking to approve the 18, or are we looking to look at the 16?
Well, what happened was is that hours that we already had discussed and we implemented, but actually apparently did not get put in the procedure manual, was the 18 hours per month requirement. We set that precedence, in my view, when we gave other two officers that we had previously, they were sent letters stating that they needed to provide 18 hours of service. And if they could not provide 18 hours of service to the township, then we, per the policy that we had implemented, they either had to do that or they didn't have a job for them. So what they did is they resigned. Both of them resigned. So my position personally on it is that's something that we already set in stone to do that, even though we might not have, because we had some chief changes in that situation, and the policy manual was has never been revised, that we go forward this way. In the future, if we want to change it to something differently, that's something the board would consider.
So I think my stance
So we
is,
can do what we want now, because it's not in the manual. It's not, we can do whatever we want.
Correct.
so if we needed, so I guess this is my stance on it. If we have to say we have to have 18 hours, we have to have something in place tonight, I understand that. But I am in favor of sort of, kind of doing my research on this topic, that if Terry thinks he needs 16 hours and needs the flexibility, I'm really impressed with the talent of people that we have here part-time. And I think, as we compete in a market with Carroll Valley and other places, the one thing that we've got is flexibility. And so I want to be flexible. I also think that 18 hours, I'm sure it was at 18 hours for a reason, but when I think about like my part-time employment when I worked for Liberty as a controller, it was 8-hour shifts. And so I think it should be 16 or 24. And if it's one shift that needs to be 8, and then 2 or 4 or 4 or whatever, then we want to provide that flexibility.
Yeah,
but I don't even think we need to mandate that tonight. I don't know what the forum for doing that is, so I want to make sure we're able to answer the mail.
Well, what brought this all about was there was officers that we had on the books we carried for years and had not put in a single hour.
Didn't work a single hour in a couple of years.
So we kind of put our foot down, and we had tried it before, and that kind of fell by the wayside.
Right.
But this time we put our foot down and said, no, this is it.
Okay.
Right. This is the way
That's
it's
what
going.
implemented.
It helped me remember why we chose 18 hours.
We only chose the 18 hours because at the time, I believe we had that transition with Don Bose was our chief at the time. We had Officer Rusin had left our services, and he ended up, we had Jim French still with us.
Where did we come up with the 18? That's,
Well,
I mean,
that was something that Don brought up.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That was the number.
Actually, when I was appointed as OIC and we had our meeting, our first employee meeting, I reviewed who was working what. And I know Corey Emmerman used to work 6-hour shifts. So 6, 12, 18, right? Because he would work 2 or 3 shifts.
Could have been.
That could have been at that point.
And I think that's how that came about.
I'm good with 16 or 24, an 8-hour shift is right.
That's industry practice, right? That's a shift, and you do one, and as long as we're saying, hey, you got to do 2, the equivalent of, I don't want to say shift, right? 16 hours.
Well, with what I'm proposing is you must do at least 8 hours of time monthly, right?
And I don't, well, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
8 hours monthly, right? In the 3-month period, okay? You must be on the schedule 8 hours each month. If you can't say, you're gonna be out of town for 2 or 3 weeks in June. So you do your 16 hours or your 8 hours from June in May. So in May you did 24 hours.
Okay.
And then you do 8 hours
I don't
in
have a
June.
problem with that.
And that's why I'm saying an average over 3 months.
As long as it's something that.
But you must do 8 hours in a month.
Okay, all Alright.
Because we may change something, we may
But it's
have
16 hours a month.
16 total on the average, but
Yeah.
it must be 8 per month.
How many months are you gonna allow the average? Are you
3,
gonna go
just a
3-month
quarter.
cycle.
so
It's a
one quarter?
So it's 48 hours.
But we're gonna do rolling. Sorry, now we're getting in the weeds. Now we're policing. So
Yeah.
is it rolling or is it gonna go? I think it's a rolling, right? Every 3 months you have to be doing at least. X
These
number
3
of hours.
months you do at least 48 hours, 16, okay? Then it starts over. These 3 months you have to do,
Okay, so I was trying to do
so
it
it's
more
every
flexible.
quarter.
I was trying to do it more flexible, because we do it by the
Yeah,
quarter.
you are, but I'm doing it by the quarter.
Okay.
By the quarter, no rollovers, by the quarter.
Yep.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, because that gives you 3 months to say yes or no, whether you know you're going on vacation or gonna be out of town.
I'm good with that.
My biggest thing is that because we have contracts with other 2 townships, I don't wanna see us fall in a situation where we have an officer that's saying, you know what, I don't wanna work any this month, so I'm gonna work the next 2 months and make up the time, and then we're pulling from someone else to make up those hours that we're obligated to. Cause we did this before, with the townships, and we got ourselves in a position where the township dropped us. Because they come out straight out and said, listen,
We're doing it with less now.
And that's why,
that's
with
why
the
we
addition,
implemented the 18
I mean,
hours.
less people.
with the addition that we have, that's why I came up with this, because you must work at least 8 hours a month. You can't just say, I'm not working this
On
month.
that thing, we had Brian Wyckett here work 8 hours every month, until he got hard on it, but he got pissed off at the township, and he stopped working at all. But he worked for years. He worked for years, 8 hours a month, every month.
Mm-hmm.
Why he
I
worked-
think it's a personnel issue, right?
He worked one day, he worked.
Is it?
What's that?
I'm
Talk to
asking.
the solicitor, don't
Is that a personnel issue?
What's
Well,
that?
we talked about a previous officer or what he worked.
When you mention
That's,
that,
that's an individual thing. That's not.
Oh, well, it's water over the dam now, so it's just goes on.
it's too late, he said.
Yeah, still ain't nothing.
I didn't mention any names.
But the bottom line, at the end of the day is, we wanna be fair,
Correct.
and we want it to be across the board, so, you know,
And that's why I was looking at it, with the amount of people we have, I believe that will cover the needs of the township. Because if each person gives their 18 or 16 hours each month, we have 6 people, right? So we're gonna be sitting at 92 hours, I believe it equals out to, something like that. We need 60 hours to cover the contract.
I mean, from my standpoint, the more
Plus,
flexibility.
that doesn't include me.
Yeah, the more flexibility that we can provide in this township to hire the type of talent that you have brought in here. I mean, I don't know if the citizens appreciate the individuals that work for you. The skill sets, not any one of them are the same skill set. We've got previous investigators, we've got people with drug addiction backgrounds, you know, and the ability to draw on that pool is very unique for us. And I think it stands to like, we're better for that. And so if we can provide flexibility that works for, what I don't want to do is over-rotate on we're expecting these people to work. At the end of the day, Terry, it's your department. You run it, you do the best you can, and then if you have an issue, bring it up to us, and then we'll have to deal with how we're gonna deal with a bad apple, or if we have one of those, but.
I have spoke to many chiefs at some of the conferences, and I told them about the quality that we have here. And they were like, man, I'd love to have your department, because we have a bomb tech, we have a narcotics officer, we have a gang and narcotics officer who ran a SWAT team. He's also a top, he's number 10 in the state, I believe, as far as the firearms, you know. So we have a lot of good talent, and that's not including the 2 we're bringing on. I mean, Conan, I can go into his background, he was on Washington State Police as the governor's detail. So, I mean, that's pretty prestige to get on the governor's detail. Tara worked down in Arlington, Virginia, Arlington County, you know, so she's been in the mix. So we have a good amount of people and a good draw, that's all.
I just don't want to be magistrating from
That's
here how the department's run, but with you, I think we gotta put guidance on there, the minimums.
I agree.
We gotta do that because it's been taken advantage of
absolutely.
before, and that's exactly where I'm coming from.
It's a balancing
Is
act, right?
We tried to work with part-time officers before and give them the flexibility they need, and it turned into nothing more
So
than.
it came down to me and Dawn Boats.
That's
It
exactly what
did,
happened.
and then you like.
Dawn and I were the only two working, and we were busting our humps.
Right, and I don't want that situation to be again,
No.
and saying, well, you know, we'll give you flexibility that you can pick and choose, we may find ourselves back in the same situation.
Now, I will say, as I spend more time working on sort of the departments and how they run and operate, and to get some more insight of that, when we begin to institute, maybe, I'm not saying we're going to do this, but I'm throwing out some
Correct.
area of research that I'm working on, area of research, is, you know, our performance reviews, and, you know, doing a stop check where we meet with each, you know, that you meet, that we
I have all mine ready.
Yeah, so that we
They've been
can,
done.
I think that's an important thing that we instituted in the township, and we will identify problems, or not problems, we will identify areas and issues of concern that need to be addressed before they become a problem, and we will address them immediately.
And that's why I wanted to mandate at least an 8-hour shift per month.
Yep.
But they have to get 48 in that quarter.
But look at this.
Nothing carries over, so you still have to work.
That's very easy to follow and makes perfect sense.
And I'm okay with, like, Ryan's gotta be somewhere and we have to do a waiver for the month. Just let us know, send us an email.
But
Let's
that's
send
gonna
you
be,
an email.
you guys are gonna approve that, I'm
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
I'll set it up for them.
Well, the one that I prepared, per Mr. Barlow's request, that says 18 hours a month period, no averaging.
Correct.
Now,
We will update
Chief,
that.
Chief DeWitt, no, Chief
He
DeWitt,
permitted one for us,
he prepared one.
Okay.
He sent to you.
Yeah, right, that's right, sorry.
So, it looks like at least two of you are saying you don't want that one.
No.
You want the chief, so I don't have, Wendy, do you have a copy?
Yeah, the chief.
Yeah, we have a copy.
Yeah, well, why don't, can you, is that in their packet? The
No,
guy-
I did not.
Okay, can you go ahead and print out the chief's one real quick?
I can grab one.
Well,
You have it
I just want them to,
Do you have it
it's in
handy?
there.
He has it.
Print out 3 of them, chief.
Yeah, I left my packet at home.
Yeah. So at least that way, pretty much what he said is how his works.
Well, that's pretty much how his worked. It was 16 hours and it
Pretty
was
simple.
with a 48-hour thing. And,
I'd just rather keep it to like a normal shift, like 16, 24, whatever it is.
Okay, you can have it.
Oh, so, so that's, in my profession, that's just like selling past the close.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Are you doing an end dance or something?
I'm in timeout.
Oh, you're in timeout.
So while we're waiting for him to bring that in here, there's one other thing
57 minutes.
under the police department. I did speak with Bruce Creeling, the attorney, the special attorney for the Liberty Township, and he'd been working on the car grant that we had gotten and that was stolen from the township. He was successful to get a judgment against the person in the amount of $19,000 and X dollars. It was just under $20,000.
Plus attorney fees.
What's that?
Plus attorney fees.
You know, plus attorney fees.
Exactly.
That didn't happen.
75.
But the man was arrested, as you all know, and 13 other companies. He has been charged with 13 different offenses doing the same exact thing. The thing about it is that's a criminal thing going on right now, ongoing. We are still like I said, we have the opportunity to research and look for any assets that he may have. They have an investigator that's all he does is research people's assets and what you can attach, what you can't attach. The fee for that man to do that for each account that he finds that has funds in it that we can attach or have a judgment for would be $150 per account. For Bruce and Clycoss and Associates to move forward, they need approval from the board to grant this investigation and also grant the $150 per account if it's done.
Oh,
No,
oh no, let's go start the meeting over again.
thank God it's only water.
Mine's vodka.
That's why you tell me. That's how you get through the meetings, huh, Bobby?
That would dry make it through.
That's right.
I was just gonna.
That was vodka, yeah.
Hey, at least it didn't get on you.
Vicky, is that throwing good money after bad?
Well, we're not gonna get any money if we don't. We have no chance of getting any money if we don't follow through with trying to get his assets. They will, the criminal courts is not gonna issue us that money.
I got it.
I don't know why you're saying that, I mean.
Well, as far as, there's 13 cases.
Well, but you need to file, someone from the probation department should contact you and ask you how much you're owed.
Victim witness should, yes.
Yeah, and then that would be restitution. If you're owed 19,000, then, again, it might take 10 years to get your money, but, you know, you need to put in for the restitution.
Well, we already have a judgment issued by the court.
But that's totally separate from the
Yeah,
criminal.
but that's a different thing. Our attorney right now is dealing with.
The civil side.
But
you had said we're not gonna get any restitution. No, that's not correct.
As far as the judgment, we won't.
If he stole $19,000 from you and he's convicted of that crime, then you will get you should get restitution for that 19,000 through the criminal system. It might take years, but you should get restitution eventually, unless he dies or something like that. But I mean, you know.
But that's through the criminal. But in civil, we already have a judgment. The only way we're going to get anything on that is we have to find assets.
Yeah.
And that takes an investigation.
Well, I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine, but, does he have assets?
We don't know.
You gotta investigate.
You gotta investigate find out.
Okay, all right,
We gotta
so-
pay for it.
So that's not on the agenda for tonight. So what you're gonna have to do, if you wanna act on that, you're gonna have to first of all pass a motion to amend the agenda and add that as an item, and you're gonna have to state the reasons why why it's not on the agenda.
Well,
Or else you can postpone it to the next meeting and put it on the agenda.
it really don't matter to me one way or another. I talked to Bruce Crilley, which of course you know, he's our special counsel, and he
Yeah.
said to add it to the police department, under the police department. He said, because last month we did have it, and it didn't get approved last month.
Yeah, but it's not there. I'm just telling you what the sunshine law requires, you know.
Well, it don't matter to me. I'll make a motion, we put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
We keep kicking this down. It's been 2 years now,
Yeah.
and we ain't got no money.
Well, I
And
understand
you know
that.
what? Guess what? There's 12 other people gonna be going after him too. So,
Right.
whoever gets the judgment first gets the money. So we already lost on the other thing because we let the time lapse. So now that is
Yeah.
done.
I know we're running late, but I'd rather I'm a man of getting an action plan together. I'd rather figure out how we can execute on it now. Can we?
Well, it's complicated. If well, first of all, what's your reasons for not putting it on the agenda tonight, other
Because we
than?
just talked to him yesterday, it was too late.
It was too late.
Okay, well, all right, well, then the minutes are gonna have to reflect, well, first of all, you gotta make the motion to amend. You have to state the reasons, because you just talked to them yesterday. Then tomorrow on your website, you need to post the revised agenda. You also need to post the revised agenda here, and then the minutes, and I'll send you an email explaining exactly what you need to do, Wendy, but the minutes also need to reflect the reasons why it was added to the agenda. It used to be that you couldn't add things to the agenda because of that Commonwealth Court case, but November 2025, the Supreme Court overruled that and said you can, but you gotta follow that strict procedure. So if you wanna do it tonight, first of all, make a motion to add it to the agenda, state the reasons, you just got it yesterday, so you didn't have a time to put it on the agenda. And then that's really all you need to do tonight, and then Wendy needs to do those things two things within 24 hours.
How much work is that?
Well, that's the easy part. Post a revised agenda on the website, adding this, I just added as A4. And then, do you post the agendas at the township here?
Just on the bulletin board, yeah.
Yeah, you have to post the revised agenda on the bulletin board. You have to do that within 24 hours. And then
Just send me an email.
I'll send you an
Are you
email.
okay with that? I'm just making sure you're
Oh,
okay with it.
well, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm sure the dudes run the chill games.
I know what your calendar looks like.
But the thing is,
Other things just get pushed.
I know.
mean, that's just all that happens. I'm already 4 days behind on a report to county.
I know.
Whatever.
Yeah, and for the record, it's busy season for reporting out, so contact the supervisor if you need help. We're happy to jump in. Wendy has a lot of work on her docket right now to get us ready for all the reporting.
Okay,
she'll do
so make a motion to add it to the agenda, someone.
I'll make a motion to add this to the agenda.
For the reasons that Mr.
That Mr.
Stated.
Let's go, just
Add to the agenda because
I'll
it
second
came in
We
yesterday,
just-
too late to be
yeah, it's in
added.
the Bansky
spoke to
situation.
Bruce Queeling yesterday from Pike Cost and Associates about the ongoing case, and he advised that the only thing he could do at this stage is do the investigation, and the charge it would be if he found counts.
Yeah, and because it's so important to us, we need to add it to the agenda right now because it needs immediate action.
Yeah.
Okay, alright,
Boom.
What's
so,
your motion?
That's my motion, needs to be acted on right now.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
and then you can make the motion.
Now it's on
I guess it's hire investigator to discover assets of, what's the guy's name?
Daryl somebody, can't even remember his name, it's been so long.
The dude.
Assets of individual that stole $19,000 from the township, or thereabouts.
So is that your motion? That's my motion. My motion is what Les Scott just said.
So you're making a motion to hire someone? Is that what the motion
Yeah,
is?
to investigate, the assets.
Yeah, Bobby seconded it,
Yep.
we all in favor?
Alright,
Alright, cool. Alright,
And who will be doing that?
welcome down to sausage.
What's that, Wendy?
I'm asking them who's going to take care of that looking and hiring of the investigator.
I will call Bruce
You are
tomorrow
gonna take
and
care
let
of
him know
it.
that
Mr. Barlow will
it
act.
was approved at tonight's meeting to go forward.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Alright, and the last thing under the police department, policy amendment. Alright, so the amendment is read, it says it is the intent of the general order to provide adequate police service for the township, police department, the policy. It should be the policy of the Liberty Township Police Department that all part-time sworn employees work a minimum average of 16 hours per month to provide adequate police coverage and to support the knowledge and changes within the department per quarter. Procurement procedures. On the 25th of each month, all sworn members of the will provide their availability to the shift chief of police at his or her designated by email. Each sworn member will work at least 8 hours in each calendar month in a quarter, and the remaining 24 hours may be averaged over the quarter. Each shift should be at least a minimum of 4 hours. The chief of police or designee will be responsible for ensuring that each sworn member provides at least 16 hours of scheduled time to the department monthly. This time will be reviewed quarterly and be averaged out over the quarter. It may be possible a sworn member will work more one month in a quarter than another month. However, the hours must average out to be at least 16 hours a month, or a total of 48 hours per quarter, which at least each 8 hours in each of the calendar months. That's the policy.
Okay,
Okay,
so we're gonna adopt it.
well, we'll make a motion to adopt the policy.
I make the motion to adopt the policy presented.
Okay, second? All in favor?
Alright?
Alright.
Right.
Look at that. Government at work.
See, I told you you'd get it.
Eventually. I'm a little slow, man. I'm a little slow.
Whew. Y'all beat me up tonight. I'm getting, okay, we're gonna move on to zoning. The permits issued in January. All right, we had, 3 permits, land use permits for a total of $300. We had, 1 driveway permit for $65 for a total permit of $365. All right, that was that. Consider the junkyard permit renewal. I will make a motion that we accept the junkyard permit renewal. We did have our zoning officer out and he did the inspection on the junkyard and he did not give us any reason not to. Matter of fact, he signed off on it, so I make a motion that we, accept the junkyard permit.
So just for me, so was it, what do they call it? MDIA? Is this MDIA that did that
Yes.
work?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're enforced, did MDI
The
person?
day that they came here to meet
Yep.
with us, they went and inspected
Okay,
it.
alright, cool. So they're going out, I'm just trying to understand the difference between what Russ does.
Yes.
So they went out, they did the approval, and that was not
They
us because.
confirmed it was in compliance. That was the MDIA, the people who
Okay,
issued
yeah.
zoning. Yes.
Thanks.
If it's determined that he was not in compliance, I guess that's when the other gentleman would get
Yeah.
involved.
Yes, that would be different.
Okay, just trying to understand where this will go.
So I made a motion, do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Did you say aye?
Sorry. I'm showing off Susie's here.
Outstanding zoning issues, I do not have any outstanding zoning issues in my packet this month, but they have not changed from last month. So, they're the same exact as last month, so we're moving.
But Mr. Barlow, you said, you might wanna make mention of some of the stormwater outstanding zoning issues. Were you gonna talk about that, or no, maybe not?
Alright, well.
I did not receive a report for
Alright,
it.
so what I can let you know, we did, some of the people in, the Risk Trail area that were cited for stormwater issues, did come in compliance. We had an order passed down from the Court of Common Pleas, on January the 12th, stating in summary, that the township was in overreach in their ability to enforce our ordinance. So they did not agree with us. We had an appeal process that ended on January the 30th. So that time has passed, so that is water under the bridge, so to speak, or stormwater under the bridge. So there's where we are on the stormwater issues. Some of the things that we need to consider moving forward is Chris said in his research, we need to look at our zoning ordinances and our ordinance as a whole, because if our local courts are not going to enforce our ordinances, then why are we spending thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees to try to represent the township with this type of outcome? Especially when some of these ordinances are not mandated by, they're not ordinances that we put in place, but was actually passed down from the state and federal level, and we're getting no backing from the state and federal when it comes to enforcing. So there's where we're at.
Does that mean the people that didn't come into compliance don't have to?
Well, there's two people that took it to Adams County.
Okay.
Those two people only. There's other ones that we have not even reached out to us yet. So my understanding is those two particular properties do not have to.
Okay.
So that's something we as a board need to address moving forward with our zoning and our ordinances, because and I did speak with Mr. Lisco on the subject. If we're not going to get the backing from the county, then I don't know what's the point? What's the point? Because we do have thousands of dollars in these.
And for the community, these ordinances, like in this case, the water runs off, the road freezes, and a school bus goes down, and we're just trying to protect that. Right? These ordinances aren't there to create issues, and it's not a tax base. Right. It's to protect so that if a farm's next door and they move their manure pit and the groundwater gets contaminated, they're not supposed to have done that. There would have been a zoning officer that went out and said, "Oh, you can't do that." We happen to have that happen to us, and our water got contaminated. Ordinances are there to protect people. But if the magistrate's not going to support us when we're trying to enforce that, we're burning taxpayer dollars going after this stuff because we're trying to enforce their laws. And so we need to figure that out.
Yeah. No.
We're going to take a look at it.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that moving forward in the future and see what happens with our ordinances as a whole.
Should be a fun exercise.
Research.
Lots of research.
I like your research.
You like that?
I like your research. We're going to research what our options may be.
That's what I learned at newly elected official summer camp. Everything I do is research.
Everything does is research. So there's where we're at on the outstanding ordinance, zoning issues and stuff. Before let me see, is that you got something? Okay. So we move on to the road department. Under the road department, it's, in January, we did, that's 76 gallons of gas, 143 on-road diesel, 21 gallons of off-road. We drove 1,670 miles as total. That's all 3 vehicles. I did not break it down by vehicle this month. I just put them all together. Of course, you know, some of the things that went on in January. We had a snow event in the earlier part. Actually, in the early part of in February, December, we had a snow event. Then we had an ice event that brought down some trees. Then we had another snow event, which we're still dealing with now. We got something coming in over the weekend. So it kept us a little active on that part. We did hire a full-time employee, which he's been working with me every day, training him in different aspects. I did already have him go with me to one training event. Last week we went and spent 5 hours at a training event in Gettysburg. So we've started that process of getting him an email address, getting him lined up to take LTAP classes where he can get those Road Scholar credits. So that's something we've been doing. Also working with the different vendors. We're getting quotes for different backhoes, and been talking with them. Matter of fact, if you came in tonight, you might have seen a backhoe sitting out here in our parking lot. It was delivered today as a demo. That's from Cleveland Brothers. That's one of the vehicles we're looking at. We are lining up a scheduled demo with SEK for a John Deere backhoe and also a John Deere mower. Yesterday, myself and Chris and Dan took a trip up to Huntington, PA to look at a Massey Ferguson Mowmaster mower. So it was a demo with ourselves and 3 other townships. And at the same time, we looked at a international 20, what series is that? It's a 3300. It's a 3300 GVW truck with a new plow. The whole thing nice to replace the one we have now. This is a future thing we're working, but trying to get an LSA grant to purchase this particular piece of equipment. We looked at the Max, we looked at the International, we looked at the Freightliner, and we looked at the Peterbilt.
The Peterbilt.
Out of those 4, the Mac is the only one that cannot be under-registered to $25,999. The other 3 can be, which would take us out of the CDL program for us, so we would not have to have a CDL driver to drive that vehicle, which is what our intent is to try to get away from the CDL program. So anyhow, those are some of the things we got going on. I also, in the month, this month, attended recertification classes for pesticide management and the credits that each year you're required to obtain at least 6 credits a year to maintain that. So I attended those classes. So it's kind of what went down for this month. I will say that the plowing Orchard Road did really well. There was no issues with that. So I'm glad that held up as it did. Bobby came in, we had another Rick Hartle, he came in. So we were able to, the first time ever since I've been here, we were able to do shift work for the snow removal. So myself and Dan came in at 3 o'clock in the morning, started the shift, and we worked until 9. Bobby and Rick Hartle came in and worked from 9 to 3 or 4?
4:30.
4:30. So they kept the roads cleaned up as best as they could at that point in time, and Dan and I came back in with Chris, and we worked until 10 o'clock that night to clear everything and get everything up and cleaned up, and we all went home, and that was that. So,
and it was impressive because we went to 2 different townships and the state line, and their roads were not plowed, but ours were. You know, and I appreciate you talking about EMS, and you know, we were good to go. You know,
Yeah,
and Dan did a great job. You know, somebody just stepped into it and got right out.
Yeah, Dan, he got inoculated with his new job the first week he started.
Yeah, exactly. So the first week he's already at.
Boom, so he was there, and, which is good, like I said, we also got, another 40 tons of anti-skid delivered to us, and we've already started mixing that for the next go around if we need to. I will let you know, guys, if, we get a drawn out winter and, we find ourselves in a position for salt is unavailable. The state of Maryland went into the salt, docks down at the Inner Harbor, and brought everything on the dock,
Wow.
and they blocked it up.
That was after Virginia and North Carolina hauled
Yeah, so they hauled up all the salt, so
millions
it's
of
done.
pounds of salt.
The thing we have, we can fall back on as a municipality is under our salt, once you have a salt contract, and you exhausted your salt contract and you've utilized all your available salt, we can pull from the state of Pennsylvania. But the contract states that we can pull from them, we just have to replace whatever we take. So that's a little ace in our own hole. I hope we don't need to do that, I don't think we're gonna need to do that, but if we
Where's
get
that
it,
salt going to come from?
comes from the state
Their
sales,
their
comes from their
storage.
storages, yeah, it comes from their storage.
I wanna know if you got any mailboxes.
Oh, you had to bring it up, didn't you? I thought we were gonna skate out of that one.
Maybe a few.
Well,
It happens.
I will say, because of the heavy snow, all my other townships got mailboxes.
I will tell you that the mailboxes were not hit with plows. Per our ordinance, if it's hit by the plow, it's our obligation to replace it. The mailboxes that were taken down from the weight of the snow, from what I can tell. We only had one resident that called in and made a complaint. We went out immediately that same day, replaced the pole, and they hadn't put their mailbox up yet. But the pole is up and it's ready to go, so.
If you only had one, that's pretty good, 'cause
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I said we only got one complaint.
We got one complaint. So, but you know, that happens in snow, in any snow, event, you have these issues and, you know, like I said,
Well, no, but it seemed like, according to my other townships, they took out a lot of mailboxes because of the snow, because of the sleet.
the sleep
Well,
is
maybe
what-
you guys didn't have the sleet, well.
No, we
We
didn't.
had it, but we had it pretty clear before the sleet hit.
Yeah, we had it already cleared up. It was pretty clear.
Well,
A
you
lot of
know,
places waited for a while to plow, and
Yeah.
that was.
I tell you, I was shocked that, like, I thought like those, you know, like how you're 100% on for the entire time you're driving. There is no just driving around. Like I was like, this is like driving an 18-wheeler with moderate visibility, and you know you have to be so aware of where the edge of the road is, and I mean, 'cause I've done driveways and stuff like that, but when you're plowing a road, it was, you know, coming up, especially when we were up back in that section over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Up and back.
I mean, it's pretty narrow, and you're turning around. I mean, it's I got a new appreciation for what it takes to do that job, and
well, I think one of my townships, they have 116 miles of roads, and so they couldn't get to them. And when, by the time they got to them, that's when they were knocking out a lot of mailboxes.
yeah, I bet.
You know.
I mean, it was a foot of snow.
I would say
With, like,
it
huge
happens.
ice on top.
Yeah.
You know, it happens, you know, we'll address those as they come about, but, you know, it's just a part of the beast.
Yep.
You know, so, anyhow, I think our township was in a good place, like as Chris said, and Bob is aware of too, the state in our township, the 12 miles of road that we have in the township that are actually state roads, our roads were clear before the state even touched them.
Yep.
That was a fact. They didn't touch until it stopped. We were out there while it was going on, and which is good that we were able to do that. I mean, it was a tiring event, but it got her done. So,
Yep.
you know, like I said, I'm proud of our road, because we all work on as part-time road people too. None of us are full-time except Dan, and Dan just came on the same week we got the storm. So, you know, I really didn't expect him to jump up in the big truck and go out there and plow, but he did.
Yep.
And,
He's old for it.
he is
Exactly.
so he's getting immaculate with his job real quick.
Yeah, he is.
Yep, so anyhow, that's what we're at. Anything left, I will tell you in the road department. is I have started the process for bid packs, research. I'm doing research right now for our road projects for 2026. I met today with the Russell Standard, it's haymakers, it got bought out by a big company now, but I met with their rep today. We went over on one particular road in our township, and we're looking at putting FB modified like we did out of Orchard. He gave me a ballpark figure today to do that particular road around $80,000.
Which road was that?
Girl Scout. And that's the full length of the road and the full width at 18 feet. He's gonna give me an official quote on that after the 16th of the month. And next month I will be coming back to the board probably after I talk with our state rep and pulling up a bid pack. I think we're not gonna wait till what we did last year, where it got all messed up and then we ended up doing blacktop paving after school started back, and then the school buses were having a problem on our yards. We're gonna get these bid packs out early and get them done. That's why I'm starting here in February instead of because most people wait till the end of March, beginning of April to start the process. I started it today.
Is that the only road you're considering doing flex base?
No, that's the only quote I got today.
And how much was it again? Just, I know from the hip.
$110 a ton.
No, for the road.
Approximately 80,000. At first he about made me have a heart attack and Dan sat in the back seat. I thought he was gonna fall out. He told me $500,000. I looked at him and I said, "Take me back to the shop." And he goes, "Oh, I messed up, hit the wrong button." So anyhow, that particular road, which he thought, and that's why I brought him out, was, you know, they work with this material all the time. I said, "Is this road a good candidate for the flex space material?"
Yeah.
And he absolutely thought that was actually a perfect road to consider for flex space.
What about Bullfrog? And is that part of what you're working on, your research?
It will be. That's a whole different monster. We're not going to flex space on that. That'll be a super pave, the rest of Bullfrog. Which I believe we budgeted this year about $400,000 for our road projects. Not necessarily saying we're gonna do all that, but that's what we budgeted. But like I said, we're just, you know, since we're at that place now, I wanna get on top of this stuff and get these bid packs out and get them advertised, and hopefully as soon as the school lets out, we can be on top of it and not be dealing with this. Like, you know, we were doing paving out here and it was getting cold in November.
It's not good.
You know, so we don't wanna do that. I will say, because of the cold weather that we've had here, this is unusual for what we've had in the last years. Some of the, if you go out here and you look, some of the base repair that we did, where they did the base repair and they did crack seal over top, it is split apart, so you see a gap in the seam. So I will be contacting the people that did our base repair and letting them know as soon as the weather is available, they need to come out and reseal, because we have a guarantee. That's guaranteed for 1 year, and we definitely didn't get 3 months out of it. And it's all due to the weather.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's where we're at there, and like I said, I think February 23rd, if I can get Dan signed up, we have an LTAP class that's going to be in Adams County at the 911 Center. That will be a first credited class for him for the road scholar certificate, and I will be taking road management and road executive road classes right along with him. So when he's taking his road scholar one, I'll be taking road management classes. They coincide with each other, so we can do it at the same time. Okay, that's all I have on the road department. Planning Commission, January 20th, 2026 meeting. That was, what do we have for the planning board? Nothing.
Well, we met with the planning board on that day
Yes.
and had a joint meeting. They didn't give us any information.
Yeah.
They didn't make any rulings. There's no action items from the planning board.
Yeah.
So basically, the summary is that the board did a joint meeting with the planning commission, but we were there as a guest to hear Rob Thaler talk about options for zoning ordinances. And
Actually, that was for the land conservation,
Conservation by design, different.
conservation by design.
The
no,
ordinance
conservation
that we
by
got
design.
there, so
and
that's.
then they continued the meeting after we left,
Yeah, we
but they
left.
have no action items for that month.
Yeah.
That's all, that's the report.
Alright, so that's all we had on that particular thing. So secretary treasurers.
You have my report in front of you, I'm not gonna read the entire report, but I will tell you, highlighting that, we've had several very large invoices this, month.
Yes,
And because we were paying the health insurance 6 months at a time in advance, so I will be making a couple of transfers, and I'll do as I always do, I'll let you know ahead of time what the transfer's gonna be before I make the transfer. And then when, the taxes start coming in March and April, we'll put the money back to the reserve fund. We just need it now in the general fund to use, to pay expenses.
You're taking out the general.
The general reserve, it will come out, it will fund the expense account, and then once we get the taxes start rolling in March and April, I'll put the money back.
Okay.
And then the next 3 weeks, I'm gonna be extremely busy with these audits. Next week, I'll be sending, the prep work that they need ahead of time, and then there'll be 2 on-site visits. One's coming from the liquid fuels audit, and then we have SEK in here on site. And then after the on-site visits is another week of me sending them additional materials that they request after their review.
The SEK is our auditor.
SEK is who is going to be doing the audit, and then the Auditor General Office from the state will be coming here,
To
do the
audit their
liquid, to
liquid
audit the liquid fuels road department audit.
Okay.
My audit.
Yeah, so it's.
I don't wanna be around for that, man.
I'm just letting you know I'm gonna be
Hey, what are you talking about?
I'm sure you're better than
pretty busy and pretty tied up for the entire month of February. So don't come up with any brilliant
Me
ideas.
too.
Okay. Alright, so, make a motion that we accept her report as presented to the board.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Under old business, consider a motion to accept the bid for 2026 curbside collection transportation proceeding in municipality solid waste recycling. That'd be the trash people.
So moved.
Second.
All in
It's
favor?
let's make, for the record, it's Apple Valley Parks a Patriot.
Yeah.
Patriot.
One bid was given and that's the lowest bid.
One bid.
Now, I've already had people talk to me about they raised the price, and I went, well,
Did
okay,
you
that's
tell them it's $1.25?
I did, but that did not sit well with them anyhow. But
Well,
I
they
said,
are not required to use it. They can say, take that $1.25, put it in their gas tank and drive their,
I told them, take it up to Waynesboro.
they can do that.
That's what I told them. I told
It's
them
not.
that.
And wait in line.
I told them that, but they did not like it at all. I
They
said,
got
well, I'm
bid
sorry.
I think mine up here.
Oh, do you?
I live half a mile away.
Oh, you're old. I'll let them deliver it.
Well, and my driveway's 300 feet long, so.
Oh, yeah.
You're already halfway there. When you're
It's
taking the
too
curve.
And I always get the holidays mixed up, I drag it out and it gets blown out. About 5 years ago, I said, I'm screw this, I'm just driving up the.
It actually went up, it was $81.50, and now it's $94.50 for a quarter. And I went, okay. So that's what it is. Alright. So, let's move on to new business. Any public comments under new business?
So I forgot to mention under my stuff under the, last month I had talked about our recruitment strategies and that I was going to do some research around our ability to try and look for new ways to recruit, in particular talent for the road crew. I did speak with a private sector person, and he gave me some really great ideas about methods for doing that. I didn't have a chance to drop them up for tonight, but I'll present those, Nikki, to you, Bobby, and I'll give Wendy a copy so you guys can see. I came up with 3 different ideas that were kind of cool and out of the box. So.
Oh. Alright, sounds good, thank you. Alright, so no other comments on the new business?
No.
Okay. We will move on to new business. Review the MDIA documents. We don't have an opportunity to read those or look at those.
Well, I did, and I discussed this with Wendy earlier. The processing document, they keep referring to a zoning application. I mean, and it's actually a land use permit application. And Wendy checked your actual application, I guess, says land use permit, and the permit says land use permit. But their procedures, they keep saying zoning application. So if they can just change that to say land use permit applications or land use permit slash zoning applications, that's fine.
I'll follow up with them if the board agrees with that assessment.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm fine
Okay,
with
I'll
it.
follow up with them and have them make
So
that
make a
change.
motion when you reach out to them with that change.
That sounds good.
All in favor?
Cool.
All right, the next one is B, accept the MDIA agreement for service.
And now in that service agreement, I didn't, Mr. Lisco, did it also have the same issue with the service agreement?
No, I don't think,
Okay.
I don't think it did. The services agreement was pretty short.
Okay.
It was like a one-page thing, and,
They use, land use permit language in here too, and,
oh, do they?
yeah.
Well, they, as long as they say land use.
We don't
permit.
want it to say zoning only.
Yeah.
The cover sheet says land use permit.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine, because they say zoning enforcement with the fee rates being levered to coincide with blah, blah, for the issuance of each land use permit.
Okay, so
So-
they have it written in a correct.
Yeah, because they're gonna be are they gonna do your zoning enforcement?
No.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Oh, that's right.
They will be, which when we get further on here, they will be the backup.
Yeah, but see, okay, so what happens, I think I think the way they have it stated is correct, because they file, an individual comes in, files a land use permit, then they gotta go to UCC, MDI, they're a UCC official, MDI, they gotta go to them for their building permit. So if there's a problem with that, I think it makes sense to have them,
They do that.
yeah, okay, but if.
Our other guy's doing our ordinance enforcement.
Yeah, okay, alright, so no, that services agreement, I don't have a problem with that, that's fine.
All right, so I make a motion, we accept that agreement as presented to us.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appoint the UCC building code official.
Didn't you already appoint MDIA as your building code official?
We're naming the names now on here, and we have to do, Mr. Butler, we have to still add,
Yes.
Spittler as the backup.
yes, because they're still continuing, they're still
Okay.
working.
Well, I guess the motion would be to have MDIA as your primary and Kim Spittler as the backup
That's correct.
for building purposes, so, okay.
That would be the motion. Thank you for doing that for me.
Okay, I'm gonna second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Okay, now the next thing, okay, I'll try to be quick here.
Okay.
Your chapter 269, it has a, driveway permit ordinance, driveway permit regulations. And then Wendy sent me the application for a permit for that. You gotta get a permit for a driveway. You're all set there, that's good. But the second part of that also has a road occupancy permit requirement. That's different than a driveway permit. For like we had Comcast come through here. They want to, either underground or overhead, they wanna be in our right of way.
Yep.
That's a separate permit, okay, and you don't have a permit for that. Now, I've got a draft in one in here, I didn't have time to review it before the meeting, but for next meeting, I'll have that ready for you, road occupancy permit, and, you know, and I'm gonna make it simple, well, it's one page, but basically then I'm gonna just say, hey, you've got like about 3 pages of regulations for road occupancy permits, and that's good, because, you know, someone's boring under the road, digging in the road, and you need to make sure that's done properly, or else the $80,000 you're gonna pay to have this road fixed, you're gonna be sinking, you know, but I'm basically saying you need, if you're doing this, you gotta comply with all requirements of chapter 269. Instead of listing 3 pages of requirements in the permit, I just incorporated it. That's how a lot of my other towns.
Just reference it.
Yeah, just reference, yeah.
We got
Well, and the Hamilton band one, I didn't like that
You didn't like
because,
theirs?
no, it's too convoluted, and a lot of the stuff that they're having there, in there, really isn't, it's worded differently in your, I kinda just came up with my own, from what you.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Keep it in line with our existing documents, so
what
they
we
look
need to-
similar.
Yeah, so what we need to-
Well, yeah, it's just, here's what's gonna look like, it's gonna be this And again, I don't want you to redo this.
I won't
but
read the details.
Yeah, but basically, that's it. It's gonna be one simple page referencing all your other stuff. Yeah, well, I use scrap paper. So-
Look at that. Okay, so that's it. I like one form.
It's gonna be pretty much this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
It's not gonna be longer, you know, I mean, I haven't reviewed this yet. I don't think I'm gonna add much more to
So
it.
did you review the HOP for the state?
Yeah, and the state, you can use that one.
I did use it.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm saying, I didn't trust it, so I did that.
well, that's fine for now because you didn't have one. But this one's, that does not have a lot of the requirements that you have in yours. Let's just leave it.
And that's what I did, because they needed something to get started. I said, listen, we really don't have this, so I'm gonna send you the state one, because I met with them out there with the contractor and talked to them. And I said, I'm gonna give you the state, which I gave them a copy. I said, you fill that out, we'll use the state for now. And I did refer to our addition ordinance. I said, you can go to our addition ordinance. And in the future moving forward, we will draft up and get a HOP, because we don't have one.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have one now.
Okay, so other than that, that's good.
Okay.
So we're gonna table the HOP until next month,
Yes.
when he has a document.
Okay.
Anything else that, we want to talk about before we adjourn? All right, I'll make a motion for adjournment at 7:50. Do I have a second?
Good.
All in favor?